Hey everyone, this is Kevin with My Shop Assist. In this video, I'm going to go over how to do the Quickbooks Desktop integration, as well as updating your current Quickbooks Desktop if you're an existing desktop user. So the first thing you need to do is you're going to need to go into the shop settings and then click the little calculator button. And then from the drop-down menu, select Quickbooks Desktop. Once you've gone there, then you can click this icon for the Connect to QuickBooks button. And that's going to create a QWC file that we can import into the Quickbooks Webconnector. So you click that button, and then you'll see this QWC file thing here. If you click that myshopassist.qwc, it will download that file into the downloads folder. And also right above it is this password here. So if you after you've downloaded the QWC file, copy that password to your clipboard. So just highlight it and hit Control-C. And then you're going to go into your Quickbooks Webconnector, which is, if you click into QuickBooks Desktop on the top left, I think it's a file, and then look for Update Web Services, which is what the Webconnector is. And that will bring you into this window here, which is the QuickBooks Webconnector. And so the QuickBooks Webconnector will have an Add an Application in the bottom right, and if you're already an existing QuickBooks Desktop user, it would already be in there. But if you click this Add Application button in the bottom right, and then select the file that we downloaded from the Downloads folder. So navigate over to your Downloads folder and select the myshopassist.qwc file. You can't see the pop-up on here because my screen grab software only lets me select one window at a time. But once you've selected it and hit OK, it'll pull up a certificate, and you just hit yes. And usually we only update the company file when the company file is open, but you just hit yes on that as well. And then you can go ahead and it'll have a little line here where once it's added to the application has been added to your web connector. And you'll grab that password and you're going to dump it into the line that says password for the My Shop Assist integration there on the right hand side. Just paste your password that we copied in the from the MSA site. Paste it into there. You'll click the little checkbox on the left hand side, and then you're going to click Update Selected. And then that will make sure the integration is started. And so we've done all that step. So we've put the password in, we click the checkbox, we hit Update Selected, and it goes through the little application progress bar on the bottom right. That means it's working. The next step, and this is especially important if you're an existing QuickBooks Desktop user, is we now need to import the files import the account names from QuickBooks Desktop into MSA. And so again, if you had an existing integration, you need to do this. So click the little button here, and then just run the web connector again, and it's going to fetch the account names from QuickBooks Desktop and put it into MSA so that we can select them from the drop-down menus here. In the previous version, you had to manually type them in, and they were case sensitive, and it was really annoying. This actually guarantees that we have the correct names in here because they're now in this drop-down menu. So every one of these services, parts income, parts expenses, and payments, just select the down arrow and then select from the list of your accounts to the one that needs to go to. Usually services is going to be like service income or labor income. Parts will be like parts income. Costs of goods sold is usually parts expenses. And payments usually goes to undeposited funds, but sometimes it's bank accounts or whatever it is you use. So just fill those, or you just select those from the drop down and then hit save. The next step is we're gonna, if it's a new shop, you can import your information from your QuickBooks Desktop into MSA. So you would click these, so you'll import customers, import parts, import tasks. The import vendors will be coming soon. Currently it does not work because we don't use them in MSA at the moment. So you select those three, and then you just go to your web connector and hit Update Selected again, and it will fetch all your customers, parts, and services from your QuickBooks file and put it into MSA so that way you have something to start from. Again, if you had an existing connection already, this is not necessary because you will already have most of it in MSA pushed into QuickBooks, which is usually what people do anyway. So you run the web connector, it thinks, it'll add all the information into your MSA, and now you're good to go. So now we had this blank shop that now has customers, some parts, and services. And so we can go in and let's go ahead and create a job. So we pick a customer. See, we have some in here that were pulled in from the QuickBooks file. And these are just random information because we just kind of use a test file for the QuickBooks Desktop testing. And then you add a vehicle for that customer. And we'll create the job. Next, we need to add some tasks and some parts just so we have something on this invoice so we can test the export back of the invoice back into a QuickBooks Desktop. So here we go, interior carpet. We'll add a fuel pump next. All right, install fuel pump. And then we'll add a part for it. Add fuel pump. All right, so we got some parts and some labor on here. Let's go to the work order, and we got a job here. And the invoice tab is new. I'm not going to go over all the details of this in this video because I have a separate video for this invoice history job. But basically, you just click this export invoice button, and then go back to your web connector and just update the selected again, and it will fetch that job from that invoice history export and put it into your QuickBooks. So we go into your QuickBooks. If you go to your home page and then go to your invoices tab and hit back to see the previous invoice, you'll see that that job from MSA is now in your QuickBooks. So it's that easy to export it. One thing we added here that we didn't have in the previous version was the ability to export payments. So we can go back into here and let's go ahead and add a payment to this job. We'll just do cash. Just for the full amount and hit save. So you go back to the invoices, invoice history tab, and we've got, here we go. Okay, so we click it, and you have the invoice on the top and the payment on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and select the invoice number that we want to export this payment to, and click the cloud button. Cloud will export it to QuickBooks for you. Then you're going to go back to your web connector again. Hit the update selected, and it will pull the payment from MSA into QuickBooks for you. So if you look at this job here, it's actually already on here. You can see the payment for the full amount right there. And now the one nice thing about this QuickBooks Desktop update is we can now update invoices. Previously, we could not do that before. You had to make a new one every time. So that enables you to run bigger jobs using QuickBooks Desktop that you really couldn't do very easily before. And that should be a lot more handy, so you just click the export button every time you want to update an invoice, and it will just keep updating it. So that's it. If you have any questions, just give me a shout. You can email us or message us through the chat or any way else. Just let me know. All right. Thank you.